Hi there. Today I'm going to talk about a fascinating book which was given to me by my good friend Slacky, Pete Morgan, and it's this book, the Jim Corbett Omnibus, which is the compilation of three of his really big works on man-eaters. And Jim Corbett was employed in India by the district commissioners to hunt man-eating tigers and leopards, which were predating on the local populations. And in the book, he starts off by describing why a tiger, in particular, becomes a man-eater. It's mainly due to wounds, uh, and in some cases, old age. The wound can be from a carelessly fired shot, sometimes buckshot, Uh, so some of the pellets are inside the tiger, uh, or from porcupine quills. Quite a few of the tigers in this have been wounded by porcupines. Um, One tigress he talks about was a comparatively young animal, and in an encounter with a porcupine, lost an eye and got some 50 quills varying in length from 1 to 9 inches embedded in the arm and under the pad of her right foreleg. Several of these quills, after striking a bone, had doubled back in the form of a U, the point and the broken off end being quite close together. Suppurating sores formed where she endeavoured to extract the quills with her teeth, and while she was lying up in a thick patch of grass, starving and licking her wounds, a woman selected this particular patch of grass to cut as fodder for her cattle. She killed that woman but didn't eat her, and then she killed uh, a guy and didn't eat him, and then the third victim she killed, she did eat. Uh, she must have been to the point of starvation, and Jim Corbett reckons the smell of blood probably made her realise there was something she could eat. So the first two people she just killed because she was in pain. Another thing he says is that uh, tigers are often characterized as being dangerous and bloodthirsty. And he says that apart from the cases of man eaters, of which there are quite a few, in general, tigers tend to ignore human population. And he tells some stories about people hunting in the wilds in India in areas which are heavily populated by tigers, and they're never attacked. So if you leave the tigers alone and don't provoke them, um, and unless you encounter a man eater, um, they're usually okay. Obviously, magnificent animals. And Jim Corbett really wasn't that keen on killing tigers, except as a necessity. And it really was a necessity because, just to give you two examples, the Champawat tiger had killed, this was documented, 436 humans. That's one tiger. And the Panar leopard had killed over 400. So in the book, sometimes it takes several weeks of hunting and stalking in an area, tracking the animal and so on. Sometimes using goats as bait, sitting in a tree stand overnight, and so on, and until finally he's able to get a killing shot on the animal. So it's all described, and it's fascinating stuff. And there's another interesting little piece of I'll I'll just find it in the book. Little piece of kind of illustrates uh, the culture in that part of the world. He he's being brought to an area because there's a man-eater on the loose, and walking down the road, he encounters a little girl. She's 8 years of age, and her name is Putley, and she's leading a bullock. And he says, kind of, where are you going with this bullock? And she's taken it. Her father wants his father, her grandfather, to have this bullock to help plough his fields. So he's told her to take it several miles down this road through man-eating territory. So Jim Corbett escorts her. She gets to the grandfather's house. He doesn't even thank her. He just takes the bullock and sends her on her way. But she mentions that she knows where a tiger had killed another animal. So she takes him and shows him, and that's a place he can start tracking. He escorts her back to her house safely, and then returns and manages to kill the man eater. So it just shows that in some parts of the world, uh, human life, even of your children, is held very, very lightly. So Jim Corbett was also very much a conservationist, and he set up the Jim Corbett National Park, which is still there in India. And he did a lot and wrote a lot about the need for conserving nature, both flora and fauna. Um, so the book is it's one of my favourites. It's an amazing book, and I really must thank Slacky for it because it's given me a lot of pleasure. Um, he Jim Corbett had a, a love of India, of the people, and of the animals, and it comes across in the book, which is illustrated with his delightful drawings, his own drawings, which of the different animals and the different people he encounters. I can't recommend it enough. If you don't want to buy the full omnibus, you can buy the books individually and read them in sequence. But the British Empire had a lot of characters, and you know, it, today the woke people attack the British Empire and other empires. Well, not so much other empires. They don't really attack the Ottoman Empire that much, but they attack the British Empire, and they tend to forget that there was a lot of good done in the empire, and it produced a lot of absolutely fascinating characters. And Jim Corbett certainly ranks highly amongst them.